Good morning, church. I'm just going to share a few thoughts from a psalm, a really well-known psalm. I'm going to read the first two verses to you now. It's Psalm 121. I lift up my eyes to the hills. From where does my help come? My help comes from the Lord, who made heaven and earth. Obviously, a really well-known psalm, and it's actually the second of 15 psalms which are called the Songs of Ascent, which most people believe were sung by worshippers going up to Jerusalem to one of the several festivals throughout the year where they would go and offer sacrifices and worship God. And you can imagine it as they're singing this psalm and they're going towards Jerusalem and they see the hills around them. They're looking up to these hills and they're thinking, does my help come from there? Where does my help come from? I don't know about you, but I love the countryside. I love hills. I love mountains. I'm missing being able to freely travel to those areas that I love at the moment. But I can sometimes be in those places of real beauty and real grandeur and look at the mountains and think, wow, they're magnificent. Creation is magnificent. But what we're told here in this psalm is that our help doesn't come from those places of beauty and majesty and grandeur. Our help doesn't come from creation. Another thought about this psalm and this opening line here about lifting our eyes to the hills is that as the Jews would look at the mountains, we know from the Old Testament that these hills were the places of pagan worship, of Baal worship. And on these hills were many altars to false gods. And it could be that they're looking at these altars and these hills and thinking, does my help come from there? Is my help found in these false gods and this worldly religious system? Well, we know that the answer is no to either of those thoughts, to the grandeur of creation and the worship of false gods. Our help doesn't come from those places. But we're told in verse 2 where our help does come from. And it comes from the Lord who made heaven and earth. And I think just those couple of thoughts there are a real encouragement to me. An encouragement to place my hope in God and God alone, but also not to place my hope in the things of this world, whether that's worldly religions or ideas or philosophies or creation itself. Our hope and our help comes from God alone, who made heaven and earth, who is in charge of the mountains, is in charge of everything on this earth. So I hope that's encouragement to you. A beautiful psalm, an encouraging psalm. Go and read the rest of it if you've got time. God bless.